Hey guys, welcome back to another Fish Fact Friday. Today we're actually not talking about a fish, we're going to be talking about the axolotl. And we have our resident axolotl expert Mo here. So why don't you tell us a little bit about these animals, Mo?
So these guys over here, they're actually really unique because, like you said, they aren't fish, they're amphibians. So these guys have a set of lungs, meaning that they breathe differently than any other fish does. Normally you would have rapid water movement at the top that gives them a lot of oxygen throughout the water. These guys don't need it. They flap their gills on the side, right over here that you can see. This guy's a little hungry. And also, if they're sleeping, another cool fact about their gills is that when they're sleeping, their gills will actually go pale. Whenever they start to wake up, they have the color back in their gills. So this guy might not be sleeping, he just looks a little hungry. So as soon as we feed him, which here I have jumbo bloodworms. These are like a really good treat, just like a lot of fat and everything like that. I normally like to feed these guys earthworms. It's way better for their diet, a little bit more natural. But a really cool thing about these is that they are from Mexico. They can only live in one place, and that's in a deep, dark cave. And they're also critically endangered. So these guys you see right here aren't actually wild axolotls, but captive bred, and that's where you can see the color. This guy is an albino leucistic. He's not like a yellow albino. Albino leucistic means he's the white albino. We do have some golden ones. They do look a little bit yellow, and some of them even glow in the dark. Now this guy in the back, he is a wild type. And these guys are really cool. They're one of the most common. They have a very strong gene. So when these guys breed, they don't only breed just one type. They breed a whole bunch. It's like a bag of Skittles. So we'll actually get like some albino leucistics. We'll get some wild types. You just bit my finger. They're super hungry. And we'll get some other real cool ones. They're a lot of fun and they're super interesting. These guys are only young adults, so they'll get even bigger than this. I've had one reach to about 14 inches long. They can also live up to 20 years. So it's a really long lifetime friend. They're extremely smart, you know, whenever it comes to feeding, and they recognize you almost immediately as soon as you come up to feed them. These guys, they see lots of people every single day, so they're not really going to recognize me as their sole provider.
And so how do you take care of these guys in an aquarium?
So they're actually pretty easy to take care of, and since they don't need like a lot of that, you know, extra surface agitation, it's easier to keep them in more of like a stagnant tank, like with like a bubble filter, like a sponge filter or something like that, or something with low flow. So that way they are like forced to kind of use their gills a little bit to get more oxygen going through their body. Like if they had tons of flow at the top, they wouldn't need to use their gills as much, and they do get a little bit smaller. But they need really cold water, so they need water like as cold as you possibly can get it. So anywhere from like 40 to 72 degrees is pretty good.
And then what are some of the cool things that these guys can do?
So they're actually one of the only species that we know of, at least, that can regrow their limbs and even parts of their internal organs, like their spinal cord, their lungs, and their heart. It's really cool because, I mean, they're just extremely hardy. Here's the golden albino. You can see the difference between the two. So that's also an albino, but he's extremely golden, so he's like yellow, and he's got bright, shiny gills, and this guy's, you know, white. But yeah, I mean, they can regrow their limbs, you know, like some scientists even do like studies where they cut them in half and they unite them with another species, like, or not species, but different like morph of axolotl, and just basically they regrow everything into making one working axolotl. So yeah, they're really studying them right now and trying to see if there's anything that we can learn from these really cool creatures.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Mo.
Yeah,
We'll see you next Friday with another Fish Fact.